On the other day, we have configured a vector database called FireDB. We extracted the contents from all our PDF documents and we converted it as chunks. These chunks further we transformed in the form of embeddings. Then we loaded all these embedded documents to the vector database called FireDB. Then we have created a question. Then we converted that question in the form of embeddings. Then we performed a vector search in the Files database. It provided us a couple of results based on our parameters that we passed. And it gives us very close answers. Those are relevant to our questions. Now, this is the right time we should take an integration between the vector database and the large language model. As you know, it is practically impossible for us to pass a 10 TB or a million TB of data to a large language model. Because we will have a question, that question will be passing it to the large language model, and it need to go and search in this vast database. That's not practically feasible. That may affect its accuracy, and the large language model may land into a hallucination mode, and there could be a catastrophic forgetting phenomenon also can happen. For that, or for avoiding those complexities, we will convert this question in the form of embeddings. Then we will perform a search in the vector database. We will get the result from the vector database. We will pass that result as a context in the large language model. Then we will also pass the first question to the large language model, so that the large language model will do a better prediction and it will provide us more accurate and refined cleansed result in our output. Good day guys, my name is Melvin Satishan. We are considering a similar use case today. Let's move on to the video. Our vector database is up and running and we are able to retrieve the data using retriever. It's the right time to integrate the vector database with a large language model. For that, we imported the Chatolama, string output parser, a runnable pass-through that will make sure that the input will be reaching till end of the workflow, chat prompt template to combine both system and user chats. Now, we have already created a LLM as well. Now, it's the right time to pass a query to the retriever and see how it behaves. For that, let's ask a question. Question equal to what is agile? And response is going to be retriever.invoke and question, right? Let's look at the answer. Print response. Okay, so we have the response here, and if you look at it, definitely there will be 6 elements. But considering that, because we have already defined the search keyword arguments as k is 6, that means it will throw 6 elements. Now what we need to do is we are going to do a dictionary, a list comprehension here. You will understand that in a later. So for that, let's do a function here, doc underscore retriever, any name you can provide it, documents that we are going to give it. So for that, return, then we will create a new line and join in between the documents. So here doc page underscore content for doc in docs. Okay, what it will do is it will search the it will take an iteration in this document so that it will find all the documents, and in that document it will extract the page underscore content. So from there we will be taking more than one line. I mean, we are just joining all the lines into a slash, two lines. So that is what we are going to do here. So it's done. Now, our next step is to create a prompt. For that, prompt equal to, so here we have to mention you are an assistant. You're an assistant. Answer the questions by referring the below context. You should answer only from the context. If you don't know the answer, say I don't know. Provide bullets. And last parameters, provide bullets and maximum sentences must be 3. Okay, so in this case let's align it so that it will be looking nice. So this is the context that we, or the rules that we set it. Next, we are going to define context so that our LLM would be able to refer the context. And next, we are going to provide the question. The question is going to be question. These two would be the variables, and we are expecting answer here. Okay, so the prompt part is completed. All right, so next we have to create a template from it. So for that, template equal to chat prompt template, and from underscore template, and here we have to provide the prompt, right? Okay, if we look at it, template, it will be taking inputs, right? Context and question. There are 2 inputs, right? Next part that we need to do is we have to assemble the chain. For that, chain equal to, let's do this way. First, our template required 2 input. One is going to be context, right? And second is going to be question. Okay, this is anyway the question is going to be coming. So for that, let's mention make sure that runnable pass through, so that we are making sure that this runnable by applying question runnable pass through, this will reach till end of the workflow, from beginning of the workflow to end of the workflow. Perfect. Now next parameter is going to be context. So for context, what we are going to do, we will call this a retriever, and we will pass the retrieved data to the document retriever. So it is basically a chaining here. Okay, so that it will get a proper context here, a string. So that value we are assigning it into the context. Now we have our context and the question is ready. Perfect. Next, we are going to chain this to prompt, because this 2 input we are having, and this 2 input we are passing it into prompt. So for that, we have to mention prompt. Perfect. Once we pass this input to this prompt, the next step we have to call the LLM. So for that, we are going to mention LLM, right? Once we get the LLM, our input will be containing a lot of things. So we need in the form of string. So for that we are going to call string output parser. So it's a method we have to use a bracket. All right, so our chain is ready. Okay, I did a mistake here. The prompt. So the prompt we created here as a template. So we need to use template here. Perfect. Oh, sorry. Here. Now it should work. So without any issues. So our chain is here. Now it is the time to pass the question and we will understand. Now question equal to what is agile. Okay. Now response equal to chain dot invoke and what is our question. So the question that we are passing. It may take a couple of minutes since our system is not having much memory. Okay, there are some errors happening. Okay, let's look at it. Wrong version number. Okay, there are some issues with the llama. HTTP localhost 11434 nomic embed test HTTPS. I have given instead of HTTP I provided HTTPS. That's a problem. Okay, that issue has been fixed. Now let's rerun it. So we are going to restart and we are going to run all. It may take some time because we were supposed to execute that because this is already the LLM is loaded to this memory. That's the reason we are getting this error. So I'm just pausing for a minute, let it complete, then I'll be back. It seems the chain invocation is completed. So let's print the response. Okay, so we have received the response. Agile refers to an approach or umbrella term that covers a variety of frameworks and methods. It is characterized by customer-based delivery, and whatever we requested, we got the proper response, right? So that is what we are doing with the large language model integration with the vector database. What we preferably do is, in this case, let's say that our vector database is 10 TB or 1 TB or in petabytes, right? So our large language model doesn't require to interact with this database. Rather than that, we have a database query. We will be getting the desired response. That response we would be passing it into the context, and the large language model will process it accordingly. And we are passing the question as well to large language model. So how do we pass the question? Because this is coming in the second step, not in the first step. For that, we are using this runnable pass-through. Okay. So I hope the concept is pretty clear, and here is the one and only trick involved, because if you understand the concept that we applied here, then it is pretty straightforward. We have only 3 or 4 steps, but understanding this chaining is crucial. So you should have a better understanding about the chaining principles. Okay, so I hope this is pretty much useful, and we will see you in the next lecture. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or queries, feel free to update in the comment section, so I will try to answer from my level best. Thank you all once again.